But while you may think your personal information is actually personal, you'd be surprised how much information about you ends up online. So I ask, how safe is the information you put out there, your personal information that you give to your employers, that the DVLA, the NHIA, and forms you fill at the bank? Where does it end? On social media, you have been posting pictures, tagging people on your location, address. Have you ever thought and wondered what someone might have done with your information? And did you know that right to have the privacy is globally accepted as a fundamental human right? Well, in Ghana today, Data Protection Commission has announced its participation in the Global Data Protection Week from January 28 to February the 1st. What does that mean? Does it in any way translate to your data being protected? I'll be engaging a data protection expert in the studio. But before we begin the conversation, let me bring you this news desk report.
Did you know that your personal data in the wrong hands can cause great harm, damage, and distress? Fraudsters can hunt down or buy your personal data to hack into your accounts, which could lead to them draining your bank accounts, stealing your identity, or worse. This is why it is important that measures are put in place to safeguard personal data from accidental loss, unauthorized disclosure, and unlawful use. Personal data means information about an individual, whether the information or opinion is recorded in material form or not. Sensitive personal information includes racial or ethnic origin, political opinions, membership of a trade union, sexual orientation or practices, criminal record, that is also personal information. Whether you're worried about identity theft or you just don't like the idea of other people tracking your every move, there are steps you can take to keep your private data private. So how then do you safeguard your personal information shared with both public and private institutions? How about online? How do you keep your data safe? Join the conversation as we engage data protection experts this afternoon.
So let's hit the ball rolling now. Patricia Edusei-Poku is Executive Director of the Data Protection Agency. She joins me now in the studio. Ms. Poku, thank you very much for your time. Is it Miss or Mrs.? Miss Poku. Yes. So you're welcome to the show. And your personal data, well, don't worry, it's just on the TV. I'm sure you know how to protect it. Well, let's begin the conversation by asking what Global Data Protection Day really means and whether or not it is necessary to observe it at all.
So globally, there's a huge effort to address this challenge of the increased use of personal technology and the pace of digitization. That means that the volumes of personal data that hits the cyberspace and is used at the touch of a button is kind of controlled in the way that it moves at speeds that is at the speed of light, and the quantities involved, the types of, the variety of personal data involved, and we call these 3 V's, the volume, the veracity, and the velocity of the data, is such that governments have to step in and control to protect the individual who cannot deal with the multiple data controllers that have our data. So the government of Ghana has passed the law, similar to what globally several countries have passed. And today, 28th January, is a day set aside for all countries that have data protection laws to raise awareness and project privacy as a fundamental human right, which is set by the Council of Europe, as agreed by all data protection authorities, to celebrate the day to promote data protection and to empower individuals to get more understanding in order to exercise their rights under the law.
Exercising their rights under the law. I'll have you tell us a bit more about what you need to do. How do you even know that you have that this right is being infringed upon? I mean, how do you know? But you spoke about data controllers. Who are these data controllers? If you could give us specific examples.
Yes, so data controllers is any individual who alone or jointly decides to collect personal data to process for any reason. In Ghana, it applies to all. The law binds the Republic public sector, private sector, individuals, and even NGOs who collect personal data to process, even clubs and groups.
Okay, it would be easier if you give us specific examples. Can you give us specific examples of these institutions?
So, like in the public sector, you have the hospitals like Kolebu,
okay.
and you have government institutions like schools, you have public sector, any government office, the ministries. You go there, you fill forms, you leave your data with us, births and deaths, immigration, judiciary, wherever you go, you leave a trace of your personal data in your interaction with the public sector staff. And as individuals, you have rights. You asked me what the rights were.
Exactly. So these are the data controllers. What the rights then determine or guides them as to what they use that information for. Is that correct?
So the law has a two-pronged approach. One, it tells all organizations and entities that collect data what their obligations are. That is clearly laid out in law, what they need to do. But the very common and strong clause in the act is that they should have adequate or appropriate technology and organizational measures. So the appropriateness of your technology must align with the kind of data and the volumes involved that you're collecting.
Technology? I mean, we know in the government, we know government agencies and we know their relationship with technology. We can't say so much about it. I mean, there are efforts, but we can't really say so much about it. So
this is why the commission exists. The commission exists to represent the reasonable expectations of you and I, the individual who might not have a say in how government decisions are made. So the commission holds entities accountable on behalf of individuals to make sure that they are complying with the law. The other side of the law is that it outlines a whole lot of rights for individuals based on which you can assert yourself with any authority or entity that has your information based on law to get them to respect your rights. If you complain and you don't get results, you can come to the commission, and again the commission will see through your complaint, make sure that the entity involved is doing the right thing with your personal data.
How do I know that the entity involved is abusing my right as far as what they have done with my personal data is concerned?
So as an individual, whatever makes you uncomfortable in the way your data is processed, you've got a right to question it. So one of the biggest rights individuals have is their right to be informed. They have a duty under the law, whoever collects your personal data, to explain thoroughly to you what the information is being used for, how it's going to be used, who will have access to it, when they'll have access to it, how long they're having access to it, when are they about to delete your information. And if you don't have this information, you have cause to complain. And so this should be given to you at the point of collection. So before you give your data, this should be explained to you.
So the Data Protection Commission, I mean, I envisage that it will be very easy for you to deal with state agencies and even with organizations here in Ghana. But when it comes to social media, for example, what is the work being done there?
So social media is an arena where you, the individual, proactively puts your own data there. So the work we have there is to empower you to understand with more knowledge and awareness about the risks around what you are putting yourself into when you put your videos, your location and pictures. Even my children put food that they're about to eat there.
Your children do that?
They put their food.
And what's the Data Protection Commission, Madam, doing about what?
I'm always highlighting and they're rolling their eyes at me. But yes, so whatever you proactively put out there, you should understand exactly what the risks are, and so that you, the individual, can control how much you put out there, and also put your privacy settings right. Big social media owners like Google, Facebook have privacy settings. So you can control who has access to the information you put out there, what they can see, what they can't see.
So in that case, can we say that the Ghana's Data Protection Commission can't really do much in terms of regulating the space?
We can, and what we are doing going forward is we're organizing free drop-in sessions for members of the public. So you can come in and have a free training session on I'm an individual, what are my rights, or I'm a data controller, what are my obligations. We are creating short free awareness sessions that you can just come to the commission at East Legon behind the Melcom on Popo Street and just educate yourself for free.
Okay, and let's not talk about how you're going to observe this data protection day? Is it a day? Is it just a day?
So we have extended it to the week to enable us do more with a whole lot of activities, mainly centered on the youth, because this year we embark on a national awareness campaign through the youth, and this is a trigger event to start the preparatory activities. So we work with the youth, and in that line, the members of the commission have gone to several secondary schools to raise awareness. We have people in Ashanti region, Western region, and in the north this week, raising awareness to students about data protection.
Okay. So is this something you're doing in the wake of the kidnappings, or it was something that you're already doing?
This was already planned.
It was already
and
planned.
It's going to carry on throughout the year. So we are doing a big youth sensitization effort. Between now and June, there'll be a lot of activities with youth and media, engaging the youth in getting increased awareness in social data protection.
And is this something that you are taking to the youth, or is there a way that the youth can is this something that you're waiting for the youth to get to you, or is there a way that you can take this to them on social media?
Yes,
that's
so we
where
have formed
it looks
the youth committee engaging with the media. We have someone from Yakobi from Geek Squad is on the youth committee.
Okay.
And we have members from other TV stations, TV Africa, TTFM, and other youth from entrepreneurial background, all engaging with the staff in the commission to give us an idea of what youth would see as their reasonable expectation of the commission.
Okay, well, let's wrap up the conversation. What should the average Ghanaian, like myself, expect in terms of protection? Well, I mean, we've just heard about Martin Amidu, seeking the call records of Mahama Yariga, and Mahama Yariga is also challenging that if I'm an average person caught in this situation, what do I do? What are the options available to me?
Every entity, any organization requesting your information, personal information, must give you some legitimate grounds. There must be a law that allows them to collect your information. Outside that, they must seek your consent. So if they don't have a law, they must be explaining the who, what, why, when, like I said before, and then ask you to consent because they don't have a law backing them. If they have a law, they should explain which clause in the law allows them to request for that information from you. Interesting.
So in this case, what are the likely conclusions to the stories?
So
the story involving Martin Amidu and
I am not privy to the detailed discussions. So I'm not
is this not something that the commission
that.
Is this not something that the commission is part of dealing with?
It could be, but I'm not privy to the detail here, so I'm unable to comment in detail.
Okay, so in that case,
I can tell you that if you're requesting for personal data, then you must have some legal backing.
So that in that case, will it be necessary to contact the commission, or is this just an issue between the person who is seeking the information and the entity from which the information is being sought?
Between the two parties, they can resolve it, but if it becomes challenging, nothing stops either of the parties involved to contact the commission for advice and support, and we do offer that.
Okay, well, let's wrap up with the activities lined up for the Data Protection Week.
So we're going into schools to give them free education on data protection. There are drop-in sessions in the commission, and on 6th February, which is out of this week, but it's a big launch of our achievements and a plan for 2019, which is the youth sensitization campaign. This will come up in 6th of February, and we will invite as many people who would want to be part of this to come to the commission and be part of the big launch. Okay, so help me out. Now,
First of all, you're having this big launch, and after the big launch, you have this youth group, youth committee that's going on with advocacy, especially in schools.
There'll be mock debates, there'll be poetry, there'll be spoken word, and there'll be social media activities.
I'm interested in the social media activity. What's happening on social media activities? We've seen how young girls are. I mean, not just young girls, but young people are active on social media, and which a lot of people are taking advantage of. So tell us briefly a bit more about
So we're getting active on the commissions and in the social media as well, because if that's where they are, that's where we want to reach them. So we've got a team formed within the commission that is going to be managing social media activities and engaging with the youth in that space.
We have also, is there a way that, for example, that the Commission can help the police in tracking the people who have been kidnapped, or in tracking those who have kidnapped these girls that we're looking for in the Western region?
So that topic you're coming to is not purely data protection as such, but we do have very close alignment and collaboration with the police CID, led by Dr. Yankson at the headquarters, who helps us to do enforcement work.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up then. It's been a very interesting conversation. So between the dates again, between 28th of January to 1st of February, the Data Protection Commission is looking to give you a lot more information about how you can protect your data, make sure that your data is protected, make sure that you don't put information out there about yourself that you're not supposed to put out there. But they'll also be engaging a lot on social media, and you want to join them there. How do people get in touch if they want to?
You can go to our website, which is www.dataprotection.org.gh, or email our general inbox at info@dataprotection.org.gh.
Okay, so I'm going to go through that again. It's go on their website. It's www.dataprotection.org or dataprotection.org, and you can also send them an email to info@dataprotection.org, correct? Info@dataprotection.org. I didn't get any social media.
Yes, we have our Twitter and Facebook, Data Protection Ghana.
Okay.
You can go to as well. Or you can walk into the office in Accra here on Popor Street behind Melcom in East Legon.
Okay, so there it is. Join them on social media. Make sure you don't make them rest, because we're paying them. Okay, we're paying them to do the work. So do not make them rest. Go after them on social media. Go after them with your emails. Go after them at their location, which I just mentioned, and ask all the questions about how you can keep your data safe. It's very important in this day and age of information. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Opoku. Patricia Edusei Opoku. She is the Executive Director of the Data Protection Commission. Thanks for coming, and we wish you all the best. Keep protecting our data. And if we don't feel that protection, we'll certainly come at you.